In today's Forex midweek outlook, we're discussing the DXY, the euro, the pound, and gold as we head into a new month. So markets are very sideways right now, but I do think that some imbalances from July could actually be the driving force as we head into September. So I'll have all the details in today's video, including a trade that I put on today. I'll have details on that. And as always, if you want my help with your trading, be sure to join us in the VIP Discord group. That includes access to my trades in real time, including that trade I put on today. I also put a trade on in crypto actually today as well. So you'll see my trades in real time, including entry, stop loss, and take profit, and also VIP-only videos, daily trade setups and updates, and really just discussing markets in real time, and also the complete course. So check out the link in the description of this video for 85% off lifetime access. And also, guys, just as a side note, alternatively, you can sign up with my partnering broker, Blueberry Markets, deposit $5,000 or more, and I will grant you lifetime access to our group that way as well. So looking at the DXY daily time frame, you can see where, for the most part, the market has been sideways for weeks. So anything beyond this is going to be very speculative, right? We can't sit here and say that this is likely or that this is likely at the moment, just because the market is range bound here between 97.70 and 98.60 or so. Okay, so with the DXY coming off of resistance today, we do have support coming in down here around 97.70. Now, full disclosure, over the weekend, I did think that this trend line down here off of the low from back here on July 1st, okay, so this right here, I did think that there was a chance we could see 98 serve as resistance this week and get that rotation down here into these unfinished auctions, which of course we didn't see, right? We saw the DXY reclaim this area to fully erase that very volatile, that very aggressive Friday move. Now, at the moment though, I do kind of think, guys, looking at this chart here, and I've discussed, for several reasons, this area down here around 96.60, why this could come into play in September. One reason for this is if we look at the monthly time frame, you can see that this is that channel from 2011. So off of these lows, we have these highs up here, and this is an equidistant channel. Now we have the market coming off of this area down here around 96.50. However, like I've mentioned in recent videos, you can see that in previous bounces from this level, it has taken the DXY months to come off of this area, right? So back here, this was several months of sideways action before the US dollar finally bottomed, and the same thing over here. Okay, and this was actually even a double bottom here where you can see the DXY actually came back toward this low before finally bottoming. But again, this was several months of price action. Okay, so I kind of think I'm leaning toward the same scenario here this time if we are going to see the DXY bottom, where you can see that we do have a bullish engulfing month that we've discussed in recent videos here. Okay, so last month did carve a bullish engulfing candle. However, like I said in recent videos, I do think that, the odds of us going sideways here for a few months are pretty good, considering what the DXY has done at this level in the past. Okay, so if we do get that, you can see where these unfinished auctions come down here, right here at the bottom of this channel. So there is a chance, guys, that we see a retest down here in this area over the coming weeks. Now, in order for that to happen, though, I want to be clear. This is not saying that the market is bearish right now, because again, it is just range bound. Okay, so we can't say that this down here is likely until we see the DXY get below areas like this, 97.70, okay? So until that time, we are dealing with a range-bound market. Of course, if we see the DXY do the opposite and take out this area around 98.60, then we're looking at a move back there toward that resistance around 99.30 up to about 99.50. Okay, so let's move along here knowing that this market is very sideways. But again, I want to point out or highlight again that this area around 96.60 / 96.70 could come into play in September if we get the break below 97.70. Now, looking at the EURUSD, and if this content is helping, guys, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also hit that like button. So looking at the Euro daily time frame, you can see where, this market as well is very sideways, which we would expect, considering it's essentially the inverse of the DXY. Now, this area down here at 115.80, this is what we've discussed recently here. You can see an unfinished auction right down here that the Euro came close to today, but didn't quite test. And now we have a relatively aggressive bounce occurring from that 115.80 support. So you've got resistance coming in up here at 117.16 or so, this general area back here, okay? So this is going to be resistance for the Euro, given the fact the market's coming off of support. A move back here toward this resistance does seem like a likely scenario here over the coming days. And I do think too that this poor high up here, this unfinished auction around 118.10, could actually push the market higher as we close out August into September. And one reason for that is simply the trend that we've seen here over the past year. Okay, so in 2025, you can see that if we use this low right back here, there is actually, it's not the strongest trend line ever, but you can see that this level down here, okay, this could be why the Euro is bouncing so aggressively today as well. So what you can see here is that we've got this low back here, you've got this low, and also now today's low, okay, on Wednesday. So this right here, guys, the fact that the market has been trending higher is also what makes me think that a move back here toward the 117.60 area could be in the cards over the coming days. And then, of course, you have that unfinished auction up there at 118.10 that could be a driving force in September. So all in all, guys, I do like the idea of looking for pullbacks, knowing that this is a range-bound market, but looking for pullbacks into support down here. Now, you do have this long lower wick today, which off of these lows, we could see a move back down here into this area before we get a potential bounce back there toward 117.16. But ultimately, knowing that the market has been trending higher in 2025, knowing that it's coming off of this confluence of support down here, I do like the idea of looking for buys on pullbacks here. Okay, as always, not financial advice, but that is just my opinion here on the EURUSD. So moving on to the pound GBPUSD. So this is one that I actually got into today as announced in the VIP group, and that's the benefit of being in VIP, that you are going to get my trades in real time. So I announced this as I took the trade. If we look at the 4-hour time frame, you can see right through here, we had this confluence of support here for the pound, and I got in right here at 134.55. Okay, so basically right through this area here, I was getting long, and I announced this in real time in Discord along with my stop loss and a take profit. Now, you can see here on the daily chart, this is what we talked about on the DXY, where if you draw a trend line from, this was actually the open here for August. So off of the opening price down here, this is also technically valid. You can draw a trend line, guys, from closing prices on high time frames like this, especially when it's the month open. That in fact makes it more significant. And you can see where, once again, the market is coming off of this confluence of support down here, just below 134.50. Okay, so like the euro, I do like the pound higher. Okay, I like this market higher as long as it's holding above this area down here around 134.40. Okay, now you have this long lower wick so far today, so we could see this become a factor as we head into Thursday. So maybe a pullback here into this area before we get that bounce back here toward these highs around 135.25. Okay, now you'll notice back here, so all the way back here in July, that we have this imbalance for the pound that we've talked about. So this candle right back here, we saw a very partial retrace, and you have these single prints or imbalances up here in the 137 area. So areas like this, guys, tend to get tested by markets, especially in a range-bound market like this, which, make no mistake about it, if you look here, we just zoom out, you can see that this is, in fact, a range-bound market. Right now, we have the pound essentially trading in the middle of this range, and the range highs are up there around 137, and this is kind of why, like I've said, I do think that could become a factor as we head into September. Furthermore, if you are buying this market, then you're in agreement or you're in line with the trend that we've seen here in 2025. So let's not forget that even though the market has been very range-bound recently, this is still a market that has been trending higher for months. Okay, so I like being on the buy side there in that case. And also, guys, one note here. I know that a lot of people are going to look at this and think that this is a head and shoulders. Okay, either the shoulder over here, head and right shoulders. And while it could be, okay, here's what I'm going to say. Head and shoulders patterns, double bottoms, double tops, all of that stuff, they've become less reliable in recent years, and probably because more and more retail traders started using them over the years, and market makers saw this, and so now a lot of times they don't really pan out. And furthermore, guys, even if you trade this as a head and shoulders, right, technically it's not the best head and shoulders I've seen, first of all. Secondly, it would have to close below this area down here to become valid. And even then, I still wouldn't trade it because, again, they tend to be fake outs more than, valid patterns. Okay, so I just wanted to note that here for the pound. But if we look at this here on the 4-hour time frame, let's talk through this. So you have the market coming off of this level. Again, this is that daily trend line, which is why it's drawn this way. And you have horizontal resistance up here at these highs right around 135.25. Get above this, a sustained break above here. We've got 135.80. Get above these highs up here, guys. And this area around 137 is open for business in September. Okay, so that is what it's going to take here for the pound to target 137. Alternatively, if we were to get this market moving back below this area down here around 134.40, then that would negate the bullish bias, at least in the short term, and open up some of these levels down here. All right, so let's wrap up now with gold, which, to be honest with you guys, not a lot happening here really for months. Ever since April, this market has been very, very sideways. Now, at the same time, though, if you've been looking for longs down here at the lows, right, and shorts up here at the highs, then obviously you've done really well here, right? But with that said, it would also be difficult to be longing down here and sit through all of this, and the same thing through here. If you long this down here, it would be basically a month before it hit your target up there at those highs. So I'm not saying it can't work, but the market has also been very choppy within this range. So for gold, guys, it is a range-bound market like a lot of these other markets out there. However, at the same time, you have the market trending higher for years. Okay, first of all, for years, and certainly in 2025. So you have this uptrend here. You have the market going sideways now. So I have to lean toward when this finally resolves, and nobody knows when that's going to happen. But when it does finally resolve and we get a breakout either higher or lower, I do have to lean toward a bullish breakout here. Now, furthermore, one thing you can notice here too is that we have these highs up here. So essentially equal highs along that 3430 area. And then you have these higher lows that have developed along this time. So this to me, guys, could be pointing to a potential bullish breakout from gold because, again, it's hard to draw a trend line across here, but you have these higher lows that have developed here ever since, early 2025. So that's something to pay attention to over the coming weeks. As for the short term, though, like I mentioned over the weekend in the weekly forecast, if you guys saw that, what I was talking about there was this region. Okay, so this region through here becoming new support for gold. And that's certainly what we saw here on this candle, right? We saw the market come down here at this area and then bounce aggressively from there. Now you have 3,400 as resistance. So if we look at this on the 4-hour time frame, right, you can see that this is the breakout from this trend line that we saw here recently. So resistance back here, support, and you have resistance up here, those highs around 3,400. And then, of course, you have those range highs up around 3,430. So certainly, sellers probably come out and defend this area, certainly 3,430, because we've seen that now for months. But like I said earlier, I do kind of think I lean toward the idea that when this finally breaks, it is probably going to break higher, just given these higher lows that we're seeing develop here for months. Okay, so if you're trading this, though, in the short term, again, you've got this area coming in up here, resistance 3,400, above that, get above this area, and you're probably looking at a move back there toward 3,430, which we haven't been back here since July. Okay, so it's been a while since gold has been back here. So in my opinion, we probably see that here over the coming days, especially if we see the DXY rotate lower and target those 96.60 poor lows in August. Okay, that's yet to be seen. But if we do get that, then my bet is we see gold come up here and tag 3,430 over the coming weeks. All right, but be prepared for a pullback, especially on a retest of 3,400. So, potentially a pullback from here down here into some of these lows before we get, potentially a continuation up there toward 3,430 sometime in September. All right, guys, I hope this video has helped. If it has, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us in VIP, claim your 85% off lifetime access to Discord. See the link in the description of this video. I will see you all on the inside. Trade well out there, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.